So this time we are finding percentages of amounts, but we're going to find 5%. So if I wanted 5% of 80, I'd first find 10%. And if you remember from last time, 10% is 80 divided by 10, which equals 8. So 10% is 8. To find 5%, this time I've halved the 10, so I've divided it by 2. So I'm going to have to do the same to the 8 and divide it by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So 5% of 80 is 4. Try another one. 5% of, what could we have? 140. So I find 10%. 10%, we've done before, is 140 divided by 10, it's 14. 5%. I'm going to half this. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So 14 divided by 2 is 7. 5% of 140 is 7. We'll do one more and then we'll move on. If we did 5% of, what could we have? Let's go 90. So now 10%. I'm going to divide 90 by 10. 90 divided by 10 is 9. 5%. I'm going to divide it by 2, which means I've got to divide the answer by 2. So 9 divided by 2, a little bit trickier, it's going into a decimal now, so half of 9 is, well, half of 8 is 4, and half of 1 is 0.5. So half of 9 is 4.5. So that gives us 5%, which is great. So we can find 5% of numbers. I'm going to use that 5% so we can move on and look at numbers like 25%. So we'll do 25% of, let's just do 60. 25% of 60. My first thing would be, I'm going to find my 10%. We're good at that now. 10% is 6. I can find 20% because 10 times 2 is 20. So 6 times 2 is 12. So I've now found my 20%. I now need to find the 5%. So we remember that 10% was 6. 5% this time I've got to divide this by 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5, so 6 divided by 2 is 3. So that's great, I found my 5%, I found my 20%, and if I add those two numbers together, 12 add 3 is 15. So 25% of 60 is 15. I'll have another go. I can move on to 35%. We do 35% of, let's go for 140. So 35% of 140. So I'm going to start with 10%, always works. 140 divided by 10 is 14, which means I can then find my 30% that I need, because I'm going to multiply this by 3. 3 lots of this 10%. 14 times 3. I can do that one. That is 42. To find my 5%, I know that 10% was 14. So 5% is half of that. Half of 14 is 7. And to find my 35%, I want to add 30 and 5%, which is 42, and 7. With these simple numbers, you can add those in your head, but if you need to add them in a column, we can just add them in a column. 2 add 7 is 9, and 4 add nothing is 4. So 35% of 140 is 49. Have a go yourselves.